this magic green. It is the color green. It can do anything. Sometimes it speaks to me. It says, how? What have you done with your life? People around you keep dying. Use your will to right the wrong. Don't make us wait for too long.
Hey guys, it's Sean Marshall with the Confluence, and we're here today to go to two shows. We've got the 2013 version of Gallifrey 1 at the LAX Marriott, and then we've also got Creation Grand Slam Sci-Fi Fest, primarily a Star Trek show, at the Marriott in Burbank. So we'll be making the trek between the two shows today. Both of them are smaller shows on the whole. Creation trying to break back into the LA market, and Gallifrey, a fan-run show that keeps a cap of around 3,000 guests. So we're going to hit both shows, have a good time with Doctor Who, Star Trek, and any of the other franchises that are present. So let's go check them out.
I'm 2/3 legs, I think that's why I look tall, but I'm not actually. I'm only 5'6".
Before Tommy had his spurt, he was quite,
Yeah.
his daddy's quite petite.
He's quite petite. That's a really nice way of saying it, petite. I like that.
One thing really unique about Gallifrey 1 is the copy clash. I think I'm saying that about right. But these are such times where basically you book small, kind of intimate settings with the actors or the creators. The idea is to come together, have some coffee, talk in a more intimate setting. So you're kind of getting away from the grand, big con setting, and it's not the rush of when you're getting autographs. So the idea is to just kind of sit there, have a little bit of time, and the groups are very small in general, under 10 people, and it's just kind of a fun time. They've done some with some comic creators, but for the most part it's with the actual people who've been involved with Doctor Who. So something that's really neat that is tough in terms of logistics for a bigger convention, but again, Gallifrey being a smaller show with 3,000 attendees, they can pull some of these things off a little bit better. One of the fun things here at Gallifrey 1. Hey guys, if you haven't watched any of my videos before at conventions, one of the things that we end each day at a show or at the whole show is with what's under the con. And under the con is under the convention center, where we always park to kind of look at our loot and kind of talk about the show and plan our next steps. Today we're hitting two shows. We're also hitting the Creation Grand Slam Sci-Fi next, so this is just for the Gallifrey 1 portion of things. So the place is packed, really good energy, just as packed as last year, though. It was a sellout crowd as well last year. The difference was it sold out a lot earlier this year than last year, and this year there's no on-site registration. So for those of you interested in attending in 2014, be sure to be checking the website, because tickets are going up in mid-March, and it'll be interesting to see. It's kind of got that Comic-Con feel on a much smaller scale. It's only 3,000 people, but really crowded, and a lot of people coming in and being part of the show. The show itself, there's a lot of unique things in there, a lot of bags, handmade items, things like that. So just a couple quick things to kind of sum up what the show had going on in the vendor room, and it was a much improved vendor room this year. Picked up some earrings for Carmel, who's filming me now, time enough at last on Twitter, but some cool TARDIS and Dalek earrings. These were only $10 each, so that was a good buy. And this was kind of typical of what a lot of things, a lot of good buys. I mean, some pretty expensive stuff too, but a lot of good buys, a lot of more unique items that you don't see necessarily at all the conventions. Some long socks as well, another $10 item. TARDIS and all Doctor Who all over those, kind of cool. And then tons of toys. If you've seen these before, these are the Doctor Who kind of Lego-like equivalents, and so these will go great with our Lego villages. You can't have that without a TARDIS. And some blind bags. These are 3 for $10. And then the TARDIS was $25, and it gets a little pricier from there. But lots of toys, lots of autographing going on, tons of actors, tons of writers from Doctor Who. And again, for those of you that are not Doctor Who fans, it covers a lot of history. There's 50 years there, so I know a lot of people have come on board in the last couple of years. I myself am only come on in the last few years and really catching up on a lot of the history there, but it's neat. So there's a lot of interaction, and that's kind of, this is one of those shows that's really about, it's by fans for fans. So this really is that type of feel where it's like they're throwing a party for themselves and they're inviting some of their best friends to come with. But they're not interested in going, you know, mega con. They're not interested in moving up size. It'll be interesting as they're selling out quicker and quicker if they'll debate on that more. But in the end, it's like they have their party once a year. If you can get in, great. If you can't in, can't. I know a lot of people were upset about the press pass policies and things like that. I saw on Twitter that people from pretty big organizations unable to get in, and they're one of those groups that just really, they're having their party and they hope you can attend, but they cap it at a certain size and that's it. And so there's something to be said for that too, because you don't have the same type of crowding that we see at a lot of conventions as well. It's a good energy, but it's locked at a certain size, and they try and make it so everybody can get in and have a little bit of fun. All right, we're going to head over across the other side of LA to Grand Slam Sci-Fi by Creation, more of a Star Trek-based show. Also a little bit of Fringe, Being Human, some of the things like that. So let's go take off. The setup here at the Grand Slam Sci-Fi show is a little bit odd. The way the Marriott has set up, there's really only room for one major showing area, which is normally a vendor's room for most shows that I've been to here, most local conventions. And it's a small one, but the way they have it set up here is it's totally a room for panels, or for one panel. And so the vendors are being forced into the hallways and adjacent little kind of tiny meeting rooms and conference rooms. And so it's a very odd flow. Tonight, Friday night, it's really dead, so it's not really mattering that much, but it's going to be a mess tomorrow when all of the TNG actors are here and the place is really crowded. In general, there's just a lack of energy, and I've seen several and heard of several of the vendors kind of complaining that there's not much going on. And again, tomorrow will be packed. Patrick Stewart's here. There'll be a lot going on, but in general, the setup of the show leaves a lot to be desired, and is really kind of lacking in terms of energy and flow for the show. All right, I'm back with Under the Con for the Grand Slam Sci-Fi, the Creation Star Trek convention part of the day. Instead of being under the con, obviously we're outdoors because just that's how this convention center is set up. It's the same thing, trying to get behind the, or underneath the scene of what's going on at the show and talk a little bit about it. It was interesting in that just the way the Marriott is set up in Burbank is not so much for this type of show, meaning that they've got that one central room, as I spoke about earlier, and since they're using that as a dedicated panel room, all of the vendors are pushed off into basically hallways inside little rooms. So there's not a ton of good energy going on there. Tonight's really dead, which it is kind of a preview night. They opened really 2 o'clock today till 7. Tomorrow's going to be packed. They're sold out, so it's going to be packed. Patrick Stewart's there. He hasn't been in these parts in quite a while signing, so it's going to be a really busy day. So it's going to be pretty messy. Monster Palooza was here, a show I was at a few months ago, and it was tough because of the way it's set up, just very congested, a lot of clogged arteries. But it's tough. The vendors really don't have much in the way of unique items. Nothing. There really, literally wasn't anything there that I haven't seen a ton of times at other places. I was really kind of shocked by the poor selection of vendors. One of the things for me, if you kind of followed me on Twitter or read my articles, saying that I really try and keep things positive. I'm really pretty good at finding the best in shows, so I don't like saying anything negative about shows. But that being said, this show's really missing a lot. You know, it really doesn't have the vendor room that it should have. It's not set up in the way that it should have. And so hopefully these will be things that they reconsider and put into play next year. I'm really hoping they come back, that this isn't a bomb, and that they do come back, because I love it. I know a lot of people in the con community have negative things to say about creation shows. I'm not one of them. I'm usually very positive. I love Star Trek Vegas. I've been to lots of the different creation shows, so I love the way that they focus on having seats for everyone and trying to make it a really comfortable environment where you're not rushing around. But that being said, this show has is very lacking. It's very lacking. The only thing actually that I purchased today in the first day here is just Bruce Boxleitner's autograph on a Tron photo. It's something that I've come across him at several shows before, but I've never really gone through the effort to get his because I've been getting other signatures or just other items. But I can tell with this show there's not going to be a ton of things that catch my interest. It's rare that I don't pick up a couple toys or t-shirts or sweatshirts or things like that, and there was nothing here that really interested me in that way. So tomorrow, again, a bigger panel, or a bigger set of guests tomorrow will be here. LeVar Burton, Michael Dorn, Patrick Stewart, as I said, Sam Witwer from Being Human will be here. So it'll be a good offering of things tomorrow. Hopefully things work out where they're able to get the crowds moving and keep things in a way that makes it enjoyable for people. But I am very worried, so we'll see. I'll come back, talk about it more tomorrow. Tomorrow will be at Galley again, and then we'll also be here again. So we'll see what Saturday has to say for both cons, and I'll come back to you with more footage. All right, thanks.
This magic ring, it is the color green. It can do anything. Sometimes it speaks to me. It says, how? What have you done with your life? People around you keep dying. Use your will to right the wrong. Swim in outer space, it's like I own the place. Do what the blue men say, wish they would go